Oh no. Hi, I'm Chris. Welcome to King Bespoke Creations. Now, today we're going to take this very shiny guitar and ruin it. We're going to do the relicing part. Please don't switch off. Those of you that hate relicing, there's a purpose behind this one. This design, yes, needs a relic strat underneath, but these big parts that we haven't really done a great deal of yet are going to get turned into angel wings to protect this beloved strat that we all love so dearly. But it does mean I have to do a little bit of relicing on this because I haven't got an original 60s strat that I can then carve into, funnily enough. So we're going to try a few different techniques on here. This lacquer is now about 4 days old, so it's not really properly cured because that takes about a month. I haven't got anything like that length of time. So we're going to see what techniques work and what might not work actually, because some of the stuff where you get the lacquer to crack, I don't think that's simply just not going to work at the minute. We haven't got time for that to cure properly. So we'll go at it with lots of different tools. I like a relic that has wear patterns and scratches that make sense. Yes, you're going to get the occasional scrape and ding where it's fallen off your amp or whatever, but those wear marks from straps, cables, plugging in jack plugs, wear from oily fingers up the high fret stuff. Who's excited for Bill and Ted? I know I am. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I got slightly sidetracked there, didn't I? Shall we crack on and get some tools out and start scratching stuff? Go on then. Now before I start scratching, I want to put all of the equipment back on. So I'm going to put the neck on, the pick guard and the bridge as well, and the jack plate, because they want to have shiny patches right on the very edge of those because they'll never get touched. Now this is a problem because I've already got holes on my neck, but they haven't got any holes in the body. So what I've done is I've got some thin nails and shoved them into the holes, taped them in place quite carefully so they're coming out as straight as possible, and then it's just a matter of pushing the neck into where it's going to sit and then slowly letting that down, and then that starts to get the nails on there. Give it a good push, and then when we take that off, oh there you go, let's pull one of the nails out with it. So I now have 4 holes in there that should correlate with the back plate, and indeed they do. Hurrah. Right, so then I can pilot hole through from this side with like a 2mm bit, and then I can drill through from the other side with the proper size holes to fit that on to fit the neck. Also just taping off where the neck goes to fit the bridge to make sure that's the correct position sideways, and then pre-drilling the holes for all of those screws to go on. Now then, there was a few of you making comments and wondering why I've painted and sprayed the body when it's not finished yet, and normally that would make perfect sense, but here's why. I'm taking the masking tape off, which really shows where these wings are going to go. I love it. But even with the masking tape on, can you see that that stain has managed to get through the masking tape and onto the wood? This is why I did it this way around. So I'm going to be carving that off. That stain's going to disappear. But if I'd have finished these wings and then they get red stain all over them, well, quite frankly, I probably would have just cried. So now we've got all the hardware on. It looks all right, doesn't it? Can you see what's going on? Now, notice along here, I've just lowered the edges of these. Don't worry, you haven't missed any carving. I've literally just lowered the edge so that I can get this pick guard in and out without snapping these tiny little bits, because that would make me cry again. So yeah, we just lowered those off just to get that pick guard in. Now I can go through and start knocking some of the edges off, sanding it down a bit. The reason I've put all of these on is because where you get wear marks along here, there should be a thin corner in there that's still shiny because your fingers can't actually get in there. So again, I'm trying to make this as realistic as possible as we go through and wear it all off. Okay, here we go. This is the scary bit. I'm just going to use, I've got varying different arrays of tools, files, little hammers, knives, rasps, pointy things, these diddly doos, and just kind of see what happens when you just go in a bit like that. Puts a bit of a scuff on there, and you think, I've obviously got to get that scuff right up to the edge of the wing on there as well. So generally, these corners are always looking a bit rough, aren't they, on everything that you get that's really old. It's always the corners that go first. So we'll just rough that up in there. Again, I put the strap button on, so that around the edge of there, that's going to be fairly protected. You're going to have a shiny section that goes around that. Bit, maybe get a bit of a file thing going on. Now I've thought about this little patch here. So your strap usually will go up there, and loads of people curl the cable round and over the top of that section, don't they? So definitely this roundy section here, this round file, really can go into there because your cable would have done that. So I don't even mind if there's a bit of a roundy dent thing going on there. Bottoms of guitars will get a hammer in. Sorry. I don't know whether you can see there now. I mean, these scratches are too big, I think, at the minute, but we can dull those off, that's fine. But you can see where we ding it with a hammer, still keeps a bit of shine inside the dent. Okay, and again, that would happen. This is why we need to go through and do the relicing at different processes at different times. So you can't do all of your dings, then all of your buffing, then all of your scratching. It needs to be interpreted and done as you go through in little bits and bobs. Around here, I definitely want to get rid of some areas and scratch down to the wood around here, where people have rushed to change guitars on stage and they've got to ram that guitar jack in because we've snapped a string and it's got to be done now. So there's going to be a lot of places around here where we're actually going to go down to the bare wood in little places. Now for this section up here, this is going to be worn away by hands and greasy fingers and things, so I'm going to try and make that as natural as possible by getting in here with fingers and scuffing up where I think fingers are likely to have been. Maybe a little bit of the neck. Ooh, I know some people really frown against that, don't they? Okay, like that. And then while I'm here, some people carry a strap like this, so that area there wants to be done as well. Again, using the same techniques, put the sandpaper between your hand and the guitar and see where you're going to carry it. It would be around there somewhere. I'm not even looking at this point. It's going to be something like that. So now that we've marked that off with the sandpaper, we've got big thick scratch marks where my fingers are going to go. We can then go in there and start working the same way as we have done with these bottom areas around here. Well, I'm fairly pleased with that. We've got worn out sections under there, and a little bit on there where you'd carry the guitar. Again, notice we've got just this little bit of shine close up to the edges, the same way we do around the fittings through here. Look, that would perfectly natural. We've got these chips, we've got the scuffs, which again, those lines from the sandpaper, I mean, that was 120 grit sandpaper, so the lines are a bit too extreme there. It just looks like you've sanded your guitar down. So I'm going to go through this. This is just wire wool. This is 0 grade, not the quadruple 0 grade that people will go on about for almost polishing. But what this will do is blend down a lot of the stuff and effectively give us like a satin finish when we're done. So you'll get a couple of glossy areas that we can't reach with fingers. I'm not going to go any thicker than that. The rest of it will be fairly satin. And notice these scratches in here, they're brand new pine, aren't they? I have a trick for blending those down and making those look old. So what's the secret to aging wood? It's this, dog chews. No, only joking, this is just a container. What we've got in here is some distilled vinegar and some wire wool thrown in. Okay, to get that greying effect, the aged effect of wood, what happens with that is it's oxidization that's making wood turn grey. When you see cladding on the sides of walls and it was bright and now it's grey, it's oxidization that's done that. So if we basically create rust is through oxidization. So we have wire wool with some distilled vinegar, leave it for at least a day and that will give you a light tint. This is quite heavy in here. This has been in for a long time. You can probably see it's really brown and icky. So I'm just going to I'm literally with a glove on, stick my fingers in and just rub it over the top and then leave it. That the vinegar with the rust that's in there will seep into the wood and we'll start to oxidize it and turn it a different color. Not just the mucky color from here, but actually age it in a fairly natural way as well. Let's give it a go. So instantly you can see that it's staining it, which it does that, but it's also oxidizing over time as well. So I'm not going to rub this off straight away. I'm going to leave it moist so it gets to settle into the wood. Maybe get some to drip down into those cracks. Just get it to drip that way. Go on, in you go. Go on. That's it. There we are. Yeah, and then that will just oxidize things. Now I'm going to go over kind of all of it because it might do a little bit to the varnish as well, the lacquer. Again, just to help age everything. You'll have noticed as we've gone through, I have scuffed up the edges around here of the metal sections as well. Well, again, I'm just going to stick some of this stuff on because it should have an effect on it. At the very least, dull that metal down. And then we can rub it all off and clean it up later. So I've left this for the afternoon. Allow that to soak in quite nicely. It's left this residue on the top, so I'm just going to use literally just water to wipe that up, to clean that off, and hopefully that should give us the final finish that we want. Well, there we go. That looks a bit like an old Strat, doesn't it? Not bad at all. Still got the back to do. Notice I haven't shown you anything on the back yet. You'll have to wait and see for that. So there we go. That looks pretty good, I think. I quite like that. Might want a little bit of fettling here and there. When it dries off completely, we might see some extra scratches that I might want to get rid of. We'll see what the sheen's like when we're done as well. But I think we're almost there, ready to start carving. So I think in the next couple of videos probably we'll start looking at carving these wings. We're going to get our carving chisels out and the big mallet and start making things look a little bit pretty. Hey, so we'll start with this side because I think that's going to be the easiest side to deal with. Then we'll start looking at these, and yes, we're going to need those shoulder carves in, those arm depths, back rests, and all these kind of things that a strap would normally have. We need to still have those, but wrapped in angel wings. If you like the sound of that, make sure you click the subscribe button, smash that like button for me, because I really love it when you do that. And leave me lots of nice comments again, or any kind of comments. I've got big shoulders, I can take it. Until then, sharpen your tools. I'll see you soon, and God bless.